Is there any redemption for Tariq St Patrick, focusing on the latter character's relationship with Jabari? Power Book 2 Ghost continues from the ashes of the original Power, with Tariq St Patrick as the main protagonist. With the death of James St Patrick, the audience watch as Tariq must balance his school endeavours alongside his growing drug operations at Stanford University. There are many important and interesting scenes and themes throughout Power Book 2 Ghost. In regard to the question, I will attempt to focus on redemption. I believe that Tariq's redemption story is not as straightforward because he has quite a complex character. In my opinion, in Power Book 2 Ghost, there are two parts of his redemption. To begin with, for the character of Tariq to be redeemed, he has to abandon the drug game and lead a legitimate life. A life that his father wanted and dreamed for him. Secondly, he has to liberate his mother, Tasha, who is for the most part of Season 1 in custody. In light of the question, I will attempt to explore the possibility of Tariq's redemption, focusing mainly on his relationship with Jabari as a tool for this. From an analytical perspective, there are similarities between the characters Jabari Reynolds and James St Patrick. Both characters attempt to lead a good life, but their character traits cause their downfall. Furthermore, the role that Jabari plays in the story towards Tariq is similar to that of a mentor or father figure. Perhaps if Tariq is able to have a good relationship with Jabari, then in a way it would sort of redeem him for his failed relationship with his father, James St Patrick. The character of Jabari is introduced as Tariq's teacher and mentor. In Season 1, Episode 3, Jabari fails Tariq on an assignment, as the young student wrote a paper based on what he believed Professor Simmons wanted to hear, rather than remaining true to his own voice and ideas. During the conversation, Jabari mentioned the importance of being authentic, stating, "These institutions were not built for us, they were forced to accept us." Race is a big part of power. In this scene, we see Jabari teaching Tariq to navigate through an academic institution. He reminds him not to conform and to keep his own ideas, voice, and thoughts. From this perspective, one could argue that Jabari is being portrayed as a positive mentor and, perhaps, father figure. Why is this important? Due to the collapse of the relationship between Tariq and James St Patrick, one way that Tariq can be redeemed is by amending his relationship with his father. The writers continue to portray Jabari as a sort of father figure for Tariq, which can again be viewed in Season 1, Episode 5 of Power Book 2 Ghost. As an audience, we view Jabari lecture Tariq about how his behavior reflects badly on other African American students on campus. Tariq angrily responds, "I had a father. I don't need you." In retrospect, not only does this quote foreshadow Jabari's death, but it also shows that Tariq feels as if he does not need another mentor/father figure within his life. I believe that this is an important quote, because without such a person, who will be able to guide Tariq back onto the legitimate life? I believe that the writers have used Tariq as a tool to reflect the ignorance that young people have in life, particularly towards rejection of older people's advice and guidance. There is a turning point in the relationship between the characters of Tariq St Patrick and Jabari. The scene I am referring to occurs in Season 1, Episode 10, Heart of Darkness, whereby Jabari invites Tariq into the office to talk about the campus murder investigation. In a dialogue exchange between the characters, Jabari places Tariq in an ultimatum: permission to use Tariq's life as the foundation of his next novel, or risk his drug secrets being exposed to the police authorities. Immediately, the audience are able to foreshadow that Tariq will kill Jabari, due to our knowledge of Tariq's persona. For example, in the original Power Season 6, Episode 15, Ghost places Tariq in an ultimatum regarding a confession for Raymond Jones' murder, which Tariq uses as the main source of motivation and justification to destroy his father. One redeemable quality about Tariq is his motivation to liberate his mother from a crime that he himself commits. As an audience, we are immediately drawn to this quality about the protagonist. Throughout Season 1 of Power Book 2 Ghost, the audience watches as Tariq plans a strategy to liberate his mother from imprisonment, entering into the drug game to attain the financial resources required to fund the finest legal defense team. Because the character's goal is a noble one, some members of the audience may excuse Tariq for the offences he commits. The murder of Jabari may be one of them. The audience are aware that his teacher stands in between his goal of liberating his mother. As an audience, we see that Tariq's motivation and redemption are interleaved. It is Tariq's motivation to free his mother, and in the process it will redeem him. I believe that we support Tariq. We no longer see Jabari as a positive influence on Tariq, but rather a tool that could destroy Tariq. One underlying theme here is the one of motivation versus redemption. Some would view them as separate, but for Tariq, they are one and the same. For Tariq, he simply does not believe that he has to be redeemed for his transgressions against his father. He has argued many times that he had no choice but to execute his father, as he stood in the way of his future, although from my perspective, I believe he does. After Tariq consents for Jabari to base his next novel around him, both characters meet outside of Stanfield University. During the scene, Tariq goes on to kill Jabari, as a consequence of pressure from Kane and to prevent his life as an upcoming drug dealer being exposed within Jabari's novel. It is a subtle yet potent scene. It always comes down to me, my family, and the gun. The majority of the audience can agree with this statement because of the character's past deeds, killing Officer Raymond Jones and James St. Patrick. I believe that this sentence illustrates how cold and heartless Tariq has become. Each death created a turning point in Tariq's character. Jabari's death was executed in cold blood, and Tariq showed no remorse. Jabari still believed in Tariq right up until the moment he was killed, similar to how James St. Patrick did in the original series. Although, from the viewpoint of Tariq, it was his mentors that stood in his way of achieving his goals and motivation. Even though I believe that Tariq still holds a lot of guilt from the way things ended with his father, I am certain that Tariq still feels like it is the only way that it could have ended. In conclusion, I believe for Tariq to be redeemed, there are two characters that need to be addressed: his father and his mother. Whilst the protagonist manages to liberate his mother at the end of Season 1 in an intense season finale episode of Power Book 2 Ghost, this only part way redeems the character in my opinion. The other half of his redemption rests with his father. How will Tariq be able to honour the dreams and ambitions of his father, James St Patrick. I thought that this could have been achieved through Jabari Reynolds, a character that I saw as the personification of James St Patrick and not Ghost. I can't wait to see how this plays out in Season 2. If you enjoyed my video essay and critique of Tariq, please smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. For more interesting theories, stay tuned. Thank you for watching.